Hey, what's happening, ladies and gentlemen? Alex S. Moy here, aka the Data Doctor, back with another Tableau build out. Today we've just finished up our sales analytics series. Hopefully, you guys enjoyed that. Go back and check out the videos on our YouTube channel. You can find that at Alex S. Moy on YouTube. Today, we're going to be going back in and doing a workout Wednesday. So if you guys have not been to the site, this is a great resource for you to really test out and build out your Tableau skills. I think this is a great challenge today. This one, let me go and go full screen so you can see exactly what I'm looking at. But this one is from week 16. I'm playing a little bit of catch up since we did this sales analytics series. And this one is building text tables. Now, I've done a few text tables in my day, so I do understand the basic premise of this. Let's take a look at what all is in here. It looks like we're using the Superstore sales data. Over here, we've got our subcategories. Interesting, a little alignment issue maybe over here. And there's a couple of other things I'm noticing. So we've got some bar charts. We've got these symbols. This is all in one table. If you've never seen this before, I'll show you exactly how to build this out. So we've got rank. I don't see anything in here that is too crazy. This rounded icon right here, this rounded square symbol, that might be a little bit different because it looks like there is a special symbol. We're not going to import that. I don't think that's really necessary. You certainly can for your own build outs, but for today, what we're doing, we'll just keep it simple. So let's just go into Tableau. Go ahead and grab my Superstore data right here. Let me pull the other example to my other screen so I can take a look at that reference. So this is all in one sheet, guys. This is a text table. And if you've never built anything quite like this before, it's quite interesting. So let me just double check and make sure I understand all the requirements. So this is for the current year. So we've got sales rank and current sales. Let's go ahead and create some of these metrics out here first. Well, what I'm going to do is grab subcategories and just go ahead and put that in our rows. So we've got all our subcategories. I'm going to fit to height because it's just going to space out a little bit better. And now let's go ahead and create some calculations. So the first thing I want to do is going to be our current sales. So the way we can do this is if year of order date, right, equals, let's say max year order date, then sales, else zero end. So we'll go ahead and enter that and see. So if I were just to drag this over here, right, we would build a bar chart. And this is very, very simple. And this matches this layout right here where we've got our phones over here. And that's useful, that's helpful for just that. But the thing that we want to build is all of these different shapes and different charts in one table. So we're going to take advantage of the fact that we can have multiple layouts over here. And we're also going to use kind of this little cheat code over here. I like to just do min 1. Some people use average 1. But that's just going to give us the ability to create additional charts. And they're going to be right next to each other. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to grab, so this is plotting everything as a bar, as 1. But what I want to do is change this to a circle. So that puts a circle right there. And let's make this shape a little bit bigger. So we'll crank it up around there. And now I'm going to control click to drag this over here. And I'm going to drag that and make a label. And so we want rank. So I'll go ahead and calculate the rank. And then if we put the marks in the center, and I'm going to make this semi-bold or something. Yeah. Now we have those rank numbers in the middle of the circle, as close as possible, really. It just depends, I think, on the font a little bit. Um, and so we have that now, as we can see over here, and we've got our bars. So we've got our sales rank, we've got our sales bars. And then if I'm looking at this text table, we've got not just the bars, but we've got our numbers on top of it. There's two ways to actually build that type of chart. You can certainly do it as a dual axis chart, or actually add like a secondary category to your chart, but I'm not going to do that. What I'm going to do is my little workaround, which is I'm just going to click and drag the sales over here. I'm going to come in here and I'm going to enter a new line, hit a space, and that's going to float it up a little bit. We'll align it to the left. And if we make these bars just a little bit thinner, it will sit on top, and we can actually come in here and maybe add another line. See how that looks. It's starting to bleed over. If we click on allow overlapping marks, now we can display all of our numbers over here. I think that's pretty good. You know, there's different ways you can do this. Not one size fits all. There's different approaches. I think that helps us to get exactly what we're looking for there. So I'm not going to spend too much more time messing around with that and creating the subcategories or other type of fields for this particular chart right here. So let's see. The next thing we want to do is going to be year-over-year sales. So this one, let's take our current sales and duplicate that. So I'll show you guys how we can calculate prior year sales very quickly. Right, PY sales, and we can just come over here and do -1 because this is the fixed calculation for the max years, and we just want to subtract 1. Now we'll get us our prior year sales. Now I want to create a year-over-year sales calculation. So I'm just going to say, and anytime you're doing percentages, right, any type of aggregates, make sure you do this, because I've done this so many times that I know you want to do that ahead of time. And that will just make it much easier. So now if I look back at our example again, we've got this symbol, we've got this values, but we're going to use the same trick that we did with the min1 value. Okay, so let's just come over here, double click into our column shelf. I'll do a min1. That's going to create that value right there. I'm going to click on the marks section over here, grab the card for that value. I can come over here and click that, and it'll select that as well for me. And I'll drag this to our text values. Okay, so we need to format that. And it looks like it's a percentage with no decimal places. And there's a plus minus 0. So let's go in here and modify. Whoops, wrong one. Format again. Let's take a look at what it is over here. So we're going to duplicate this, semicolon, semicolon, and for the negatives, we're going to put a negative, and for the positives, we'll put a positive, and for the 0, we'll just have it by itself. And so that's going to give us those symbols, right? The plus, minus, and then 0 won't have a symbol whatsoever. So now we need the custom shape. So we can change our marks to shape. And you know, the 3 values that we have over here, the shapes, looks like positive, negative, and neutral. That's what I would call it. And so let's create another calculation over here. And we'll say year-over-year sales direction. So if I'm going to round this because Just call this experience, because if we don't do this, we'll run into challenges when we go 0 pieces. I don't think that's exactly 0. It's a rounded 0. Whoops. Then increase. Else if round year-over-year sales to less than 0, then decrease. Else neutral. So we create that, and we'll drag it to our shapes, and we'll also drag it to our colors. So as soon as I add that to colors, we're going to mess up all these other colors. They go to that awful gray color. So let's come back over here. I'm looking at the reference. It looks like there's some border over here on this. So I'll add that back over there. And then let's come back over here. We double click. Oh, maybe. That's not what I want. So let's come back over here. Let's click on our shapes. So decrease, increase, and neutral. So we're going to go over to our arrows. And a decrease is going to be a down arrow. Increase will be up arrow. And neutral will be a sideways arrow. So we can do that. Let's make this a little bit bigger, similar to what we did on the ranking values. And so now we can see how that lines up there. The next thing is we need to come over here to our colors. So I'm going back over here. I'm going to grab this red over here, blue over here, neutral over here, and apply that. And so I think that's looking pretty good, because they've got those pretty strong reds and blues in here, and then this neutral right here. So that's really important, having that there. Now the other part that I'm noticing on the instructions is that there are no tooltips. So let's just go ahead and come over here and just make sure we have no tooltips whatsoever. We'll just uncheck that. And so I think that should remove it from everything. I don't know, as we're adding more charts, if that's going to affect it or not, but we will see. All right. So now the next one is profit rank. And I think that's based off of current profit. So what we're going to do is let's just grab our current sales, duplicate that, edit that. And so let's just change this to current profit. And so we should be able to just replace sales with profit over here. And that should give us the calculation we're looking for. So I'm looking back over here, we've got very similar to this, but it's going to be more of a heat map type view with a color formatted table. So we'll go ahead and use our same min1 trick over here. Grab that, and we'll come down here and change it to a circle again. Change the size a little bit larger, not too large. And we'll grab our current profits. So I'll control drag that over there. Line it to the center. And right click and set the to rank. So now we've got the values in there. Let's match it up to the other one that we have, where it's bold, and then I'll just change this to the blue color. So now this is starting to come together. I think this is looking really good. We're going to do the same thing with current profits. So we'll just say min1 over here. We'll grab our current profits. Let's click over here first. This is more of a text table, so we'll come over here and change it to, we could do square. That would put it over there. But because we're using this min one, there's a different way to do it. You can do it as a bar, and then I can come over here, align it to the center of the bar, and we can come over here and modify the axis. So edit axis, fixed, and then change this to a 1. And that's going to fill up that whole section. We can come over here and adjust the size so that it's right there. I think it just looks a little bit wonky on the sheet. Sometimes it's the resolution of your screen, but that is giving us what we're looking for there. The other part is just going to be control dragging that to our colors. Come over here, we'll do the red, blue diverge. So I think that looks pretty good. Let's take a look at how that's looking. So you can see we've got some of our heavier values over here. And I think this is just a different data set than ours because of the version of Tableau we're running versus the one they're using. So we're able to see that's the current profit. We've got our ranks in here. I think that looks pretty good. So let's go ahead and keep on building out the next couple of columns. So the next column that we have that we need to build is going to be the change in profit. And that's just the difference between current year and prior year based off of this heading that I'm seeing on their example. So let's do the same thing that we did before, duplicate the prior year sales, and let's just change this to profit. So we can come over here and do profit. And we will say change in profit. So we'll say current profit minus prior year profit. That should be fine. That default aggregation will work here. We don't have to do the sum for the components because this is just addition subtraction. So that should hold up. And in this case, I am going to drag this straight to the bar because we want to see this bar chart. So I click on the pill up here. It's going to bring me to this marks card. Let's not set it as automatic. Let's explicitly change it to a bar. I'm going to grab this. We're going to do something similar to that where we can adjust the size down. And let's change our alignment to the left. Okay. And we'll come over here, add a space there. And I think that does get us what we're looking for right there. So I know we added 2 lines over there, and maybe that was unnecessary. Let's come back over here. Let's make this bar just a little smidge smaller. And then the other thing I'm noticing is it's got the positive and negative values similar to these percentages over here. So I'm going to format this, come over here to our numbers. Let's change it first to this custom number currency with 0 decimal places with the negative. And I can come down here to custom now, and it will bring over those formats. So that'll save me a little bit of effort right there. And so now we can quickly build that out. I didn't create one for 0. I think that's okay. And I'm going to control drag that to our colors mark card right there. Let's change the color to that same red, blue diverge. And now we start to see those values really pop out. The bars and the colors help us to identify the ones that are more extreme values and the ones that are in the center are less prominent. So I think that looks pretty good right there. Let's see if there's anything format-wise that we should be looking at. Interestingly enough, it seems like they might be using again one of those dual marks cards where you can add another value over here, make it a dual axis, and position it right on that mark, but we're not going to do that in this example today, just in the interest of time. There's certainly always more ways you can do this. There's more than one way to build these things. So let's go back and take a look at our reference chart. I think we've got, okay, so this one right here, we want to modify the format of these values to be currency with 0 decimal places and negative minus sign in the front for the negative values. And then the final one is the profit ratio. So let's take a look at what the profit ratio is over here. It's just the sum of profit divided by the sum of sales. We wanted this calculation, but we only want it for this current period. So let's grab this other calculation up here, the current profit, current sales, and let's just duplicate this and just say current profit ratio. So let's see, what is it saying over here? It's not going to like that very much. So let's grab our let's do it like this instead. We'll say sum of our current profits divided by sum of our current sales. And that should give us our current profit ratio. We will want to do the same thing where we take a min of 1 over here. So you guys are seeing me use this trick quite a bit. It is one of those things where very, very handy for creating different types of custom charts, different types of visualizations. I'm using the same technique to build this out over here. And let's see what we have over here. Where is the value that I'm looking for? We've got our current profit ratio. So let me make sure I'm on this correct field. Okay. Current profit ratio. Whoops. Drag that to our text card. We'll come over here and modify our formatting, number formats, percentage. I think this is one decimal place. And so now we've got those values in here. Let's center our labels in there, and then there's a couple of different ways. Again, like I keep saying that you can do this. What I'm going to do here is, because it's only the negative values that are highlighted, let's grab that red, blue diverge. I'm going to come up here to this, and let's step the color so that it's just 2. Let's grab that color right there. And what I'm going to do is just change this down to 1. Or white, sorry. And so that's just going to highlight only the colors that are these negative values. It's a little bit hard to read over there, so let's come back over to our values. Let's make this bold, and we'll make it black, semi-bold, and that makes it a little bit easier to read. So we've got those values over there. We can certainly change this to, we'll set that as bar, but we could certainly change this to a square, for example, or some other custom shape over here, and set that similar to what we've done over here for the ranks. But I think for our example today, that's just not really necessary. We can do without it. If we want to do that, we'd come over here and we would clear that back out. So let's just make the shape a little bit bigger. Yeah, so we could certainly do the values similar to how they have it. They have the rounded um, squares over here, but since we did not import in the custom shapes, we're just going to use our default square shape right here. And so just like that, we're able to build out this text table. There's certainly a little bit more formatting and things that we could do, but I think you can see this is exactly how you would build out this text table. It's very, very flexible. We can come back over here. We can hide all of our headers, do some additional formatting, remove some of the data ink. And this becomes a really, really powerful tool for creating visualizations that compare multiple metrics against each other, even multiple time periods. So we've got year-over-year sales, we've got current year, current rank, current profit, the profit rank, change in profit in dollar amounts, and the current profit ratio. So all of those things are available over here. And there are other ways where your label is typically on the bottom over here, but if we did something like control drag this and made this a dual axis, right? We could actually come over here and modify all of these values. That changed it to change that back to a bar over there. But for example, over here, we could drop the opacity so that it does not interrupt that. And we could show the header for this value up here. We can update the axis title to say sales rank. And then we could remove all of the ticks. And now we would get this title up here. And then we could hide. Oh, and then we could just come over here and remove this axis, the title and the ticks over here. And you could do that for each and every single one of these columns. It is one way to add the different column headers. But there's multiple ways to do it. That is one way to do it. I don't know that that's the best way in this particular example here, but I just thought that I'd show you guys that that is something that you can do. And so we're able to replicate all of the visualizations inside here, and we could sort and align the text a little bit better to match every aspect of the table. But I think for today and our exercise, it's really to show that you can build this, and each one of these are different types of visualizations. That min one trick is really what you need in order to add in some of these other charts, and using a bar chart with it full width, full size, allows you to create these color tables inside as well. And so hopefully you guys have found this helpful and useful. You'll be able to use this in your own report development, visualizations, workbooks, worksheets. And if you guys like this, please drop me a like and comment down below. Share this with somebody you know that you think this could really help. But until next time, stay busy, my people.